Well, good evening, guys. Good morning to those that are not where I'm at. How are you guys doing today? Today is a little bit of an art day. Why? Sometimes you just feel like doing some art and chitter chatter. So today I feel like doing some art and some chitter chatter. Not really sure what we're going to do with this lovely piece of artwork in front of me. No, I did not do it. I downloaded it from CG Trader, but today we're going to paint it, maybe modify it a little bit, see what we can come up with. The wonderful thing about art is you don't always have to recreate the wheel when you do something. Sometimes it's just easier to start with something that's already created. It makes the whole process of getting to where you're going a little quicker sometimes. And since I'm not really sure where we're going and what we're going to end at, I figured it'd be easier to start with an already processed model. Now, with that said, let's figure out what we're going to do. We could actually end up putting horns on it, or wings. I think horns because I don't have anything for wings, and I really don't feel like going through all the trouble to make bat wings. But before we do all that, I think I'd like to paint it, because the other day I was doing an art piece for work. Yes, my job is art. I love it. Doesn't pay the bills completely all the time, but it gets me close. For the rest of it, I'm hoping streaming will fill in the gaps where needed. But with that said, I was painting a piece for one of the things I was doing, and it turned out really well. I was actually really impressed with it, and it was really the first time I ever actually decided to paint with zbrush. So I figured I really enjoyed that. Let's try it again. This is not the piece I was working on, mind you, but it is close. The other piece I was working on was not as detailed, not as realistic, and had snakes. So what we're going to do is we're going to give this more of a realistic color and material. Let's go with shading. Skeleton. Oh my, that did the trick, right? No, but it is close. It is really, really close. We gotta grunge it up a little, give it a little bit more texture. So we're just going to pick up the paintbrush, lower the intensity, and we're going to pick a color. Now you'll notice that it's not exactly changing the color on the skull, which is fine. It's a little odd. I'm used to the skull changing color as I change the values. But we're going to go with this. We're going to change to color spray. Now I know this seems weird, but it'll all make sense in a minute. So what I want to do is I want to take the color spray, pull my draw size up, and what that's going to do is it's going to make it a wide pattern. And we can turn on symmetry. Symmetry won't matter until I get into the finer details. We do not want it to be completely symmetrical, because then it's just uncanny. So we'll test. Yep, get rid of lazy stroke. We'll test, see if that's big enough. Yep, that looks like it'll do. And now if you'll notice, what it's doing is it's gradiating between different colors as I'm painting. That's due to the color spray effect. So what I'm doing is I'm adding a base paint, and this will help establish some of the better tones as I go. Now, just to let you know, we don't have to just talk about art. We can talk about anything. But since I seem to be alone right now, we'll just talk about art and what I'm doing specifically. What and why? Oh, I hate it when it does that. Alright, here we go. We'll just turn this jaw off, turn the teeth off, and continue. Now, we're almost done. Base coat looks pretty good. It's a little sparse in the face area, but that's alright, because it doesn't need to be that prominent yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn down the size, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to increase the intensity just a little bit. A little bit more. Maybe a little bit more. Now, I know it doesn't look like a whole lot's changing, but believe me, it really is. There's more finer color gradation going on, and what that will do is that will allow me to put more finer colors on the actual model, and it'll give it more of a realistic value, I guess you could say. As I go to color everything in. Now with the other skull that I did, I just worried about one part of the skull, and that was just the face mostly. So today I'm going to do the whole thing, see how it turns out, and possibly do more to the skull to see what I can come up with, really. Alright, let's change the material, see if I got everything. Looks like I did, so we're going to go back to the skeleton material, and we're going to bring the size down, bring the intensity up. And I'm going to draw. I don't think that's what I want. We're going to draw into here a little bit more, around the eyes. Down around the nose crevice. Into the gum line. Onto the and I'm not really sure what bone that is. I would love to learn the anatomy better, but I have a horrible memory for things, and if you don't know that about me by now, you'll find out soon enough. I cannot remember names worth crap. Alright. Now, that's a very good start right there. We're going to darken the inside of the eyes and the inside of the nose. We will be going over them with the regular coloring too, but for now, I just want to darken them. I don't know, something about skeletons and not having darkened in the eyes and nose area. It just doesn't sit right with me. I guess I've just seen way too many art pieces and artistic renderings. But we'll darken it out. If we get a little boisterous and then go over where we're not supposed to, that's fine, it won't matter. Here we go. And that's fine. I know it's going on the opposite side. If you want to stop that, and I should probably do such, there is I think it's under here. I know there's a setting on your brush you can add. Auto masking, directional cavity, back face. There we go. And that should stop the unintentional coloring in areas that we don't want. Just make sure to face it away from the camera projection. Now we are using symmetry mode, so it will automatically color the other side. There we go. All right, looking good for a start. So now that we got that all blacked out and ready to go, we can move on with the colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to a yellowish color and bring it back over towards the gray. It'll look like that. It'll be in that area right there in case you want to know. We're going to bump up the draw scale, drop the intensity to about 5, and then we'll just start painting. Now, immediately, you can see how it's interacting with the base layer that we laid down. And hopefully, it makes it a little bit more apparent as to why I added the base layer. Now, as I'm painting this, kind of gives me an idea as to where I want to move on with this. Now, I was thinking, anybody remember He-Man? Obviously, Joss Whedon, or no, it wasn't Joss Whedon. It was it's that dude from what is it? I can't. The Clerks. He remade the He-Man series. And from what I heard, it tanked. Alright. And that's fine. I loved He-Man growing up. Maybe we should make something like Skeletor. You can do a little fan art. It's funny how, looking back at all these old movie or old TV shows like He-Man and Skeletor and the Thundercats with Mumra. A lot of these fantasy movies, or it's shows, TV shows, because I don't think they were ever movies, except for He-Man. He-Man was a good movie. I really enjoyed that movie. But then again, I was like 5. Long time ago. I miss the 80s. A lot of you probably missed the 80s. That's alright too. But as I do this, it makes me stop and think why all the bad guys in fantasy were undead. I mean, I get it. Humans have an aversion to death and the undead. Zombies, vampires. Although vampires nowadays, they don't seem as undead as they used to be. The vampire lore these days, it's not as interesting as it used to be. But, you know, that's alright. Times move on. The lore gets muddied. But in 30 to 40 years, what I remember growing up as a vampire and what we have now, different. Yeah. And it just blows me away how in such a short amount of time throughout history you see the lore behind something change so drastically. It really makes you stop and think, what is it going to be like in the next 20 years? And sometimes, depending on the subject, it kind of scares me. sometimes it's not so bad. Like dragon lore hasn't really changed much. We don't really do much with dragons these days, I've noticed. Which is okay. I know in the 80s and the 90s we were all about dragons. Dragons there, here, dragons there. We had so much more imagination in the 80s, it seems, than we do these days. Seems like all of our culture is decided it's just going to copy what other people have done. I mean, look at Game of Thrones, and I know some of you people are probably going to want to hang me outside the parapets and draw and quarter me for saying such or anything possibly negative about Game of Thrones, but it's not really negative. But it is more like Game of Thrones literally reminds me more of a more adult version of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit and The Ring. So, yeah, I mean, you get mad if you want for me saying that, but it really is. It's more of J.R.R. Martin's, or J.R. Martin, I don't know who he is. I've never read the books. I've only seen the TV shows, and honestly, if the books and the TV shows are as different as I hear, they should go back through and redo all the show, or they should redo the show and actually make it decent. Pardon me, I gotta take a drink of water. However, I did myself enjoy the Game of Thrones. I thought it was a kind of a cool series, cool ideas. But, again, not something we haven't really touched already with J.R.R. Tolkien. But I did like the what was it, the White Walkers? That was kind of cool. Again, Undead Army. Alright. Now, I'm going to darken this just a tad. We're going to increase the intensity a little bit, and we're going to go back over it. This is going to be kind of a long process, and it's going to turn green. Just to warn you now, it's going to turn green, or greenish. Don't worry, it's part of the process. Believe me, I really stumbled upon this, and I really enjoyed doing it. So that's kind of why I wanted to start with this tonight and see where it leads. Because now I actually have a little bit more artistic freedom. I'm not just doing it for a certain specific thing. I can actually sit back, enjoy what I'm doing, and hopefully others will too. Let's see what we have at the end of 2 hours. And can you believe it's already been 30 minutes? Now, I know you can't see the base coat anymore, except for in some spots, and that's fine. It will still, in the end, affect how everything looks when we get it there. There we go. Oops. Yeah, don't want to do that. Alright. So, I mentioned already that I'm an artist at my job, right? Well, funny story. I've never been a 2D artist. Painting and digital artworks like that, always avoided them. So I get this job at a game company, and I was expecting, maybe to do modeling and whatnot, which is my strong suit. I model a sculpt, and sometimes I animate. I'm not the greatest animator in the world, but I'm learning. All this is self-taught. So, to my surprise, the spot they wanted me was in texture art. So it just kind of threw me for a loop. So I've been scrambling over the last 6 months to learn everything I can about 2D art, texture drawing, all sorts of art. And so it's just funny, because I spent most of my life avoiding that aspect of this industry my entire life, and that's what I end up doing when I finally get into a position in a company, instead of just doing my own thing. That's where I end up. Now we can completely see a difference, and it's not huge, but it's getting there. We'll do the jaw next, and then the teeth. We're going to lighten this back up a little, but we're going to pull it up towards the yellow side a little bit more, and it will be a little bit bright on the yellow, which is fine, because it's kind of what we want. That's what we're going for. Here we go. Alright, it's looking good. Because that's exactly what we want. And if we miss a little bit of the green, or we don't get it all the way yellow, that's fine too. I mean, we need the variation in colors. That's what this is all about. So we're varying the colors on the layers. And obviously, this ZBrush, there's one layer. But we're getting there. We're getting there. Alright. Looking good, looking good. Let's tone that back to a more pale yellow. And go over it one more time. But not the whole thing, mostly just the face. It's not pale enough. Alright. I think we got a winner here. I think it looks really good. Now we can use the plates of the head as more of a guide, really. The way I like to think about it is it's more like land masses and you're painting in a map. And like I said, it doesn't all have to be redone. There can still be some yellow, some green. We're really just doing this to get as much of a bone feel texture wise as we can. Well, you know, looks pretty good. As I said, the cavities, the nose, the eyes, we can go through and add a little bit of color for the yellow here. And then we'll just come back with a darker gray and color it back in a little bit. And we'll just step it up again with a darker color gray. Alright, looking fantastic. Alright, as we're coming up on the first hour, we're at 44 minutes long. Let's get the jaw done. We'll work on the jaw and then we'll kind of move on to the teeth. Alright, so remember, we start with the color spray. We get kind of a reddish color. Really doesn't matter. Get a larger. Oh, don't really want to mess with the focal distance. I mean, we can, but it really doesn't matter. That's too large. Too red. We want it to almost be a brownish color. And of course we're not doing symmetry, are we? That's alright. We can fix that real quick. And pardon my chair, I know it's squeaky as hell. Alright. It doesn't have to be perfect. I know some of us are all perfectionists and everything has to be perfect, but for this, it doesn't really have to be all that perfect. It will look good either way. The model here is fantastic. Alright. That looks really good. Time to add in more detail. Alright. Getting better. Getting better. Alright. Pardon me. Gotta get another drink. It's kind of warm in the house tonight, so I'm finding that I'm drinking a lot of water. Oh. we go. Alright, everything looks good, except for over here. Looks like it didn't get it near enough. Makes me wonder if the alignment for the symmetry is off a little bit. It wouldn't be the first time I've worked with a model that was poorly symmetrized. Alright, back to the yellow. There we go. And we'll go back to our freehand. Ramp up the draw size a little. There we go. And just so we can watch it as it slowly crawls into the realm with the rest of the skull. I'll show the skull. Get this up here, although it's not really all that important because you don't see it as much. Still want to get it. You gotta pardon the loud trucks that drive by. I live next to a college. And my college specializes in like farming and agriculture. So we have a lot of farming kids that come through here, and well, if you live in the big city, you might not know this, but anybody who lives out in the rural areas knows that farm kids love loud trucks. Like inner area urban kids like loud cars. Well, we like loud trucks, cars, anything loud, even motorcycles. We have it all here. My small town is very eclectic in its appropriation of other American culture. Sadly, we're still about 5 to 10 years behind the rest of the world, so it's the American culture from like 10 years ago. Although I don't think the loud trucks will ever go away, or the loud cars around here. That's all right. But where I was going with that is I live next to the college, and we've had some really crappy weather lately. It rained, and then it started to get cold, so the rain turned into ice, which is really playing hell with the people trying to get up the hill to the dorms. And I live right across the street from the dorms, so it's kind of funny. They have a hard time getting up the icy road. And of course, our college doesn't really do anything about it. You'd think they'd salt it or something, but no. They'd rather build new buildings and whatnot, which is fine. It's fine. They make a lot of money around here, so it's not that bad. I went on Google Maps today, or Google Earth, pardon me, and adjust the timeline and seen just how much this town's changed over the last 25, 30 years. Alright, so now that we've got our jaw practically where everything else is, it's starting to look a lot closer to the rest of the skull. And honestly, we've been doing this for about 55 minutes, and I just kind of want to move on a little. It's not going to hurt anything that the jaw is just a little discolored from the rest of it. Actually, it kind of looks close enough that it's not, except I could put a little bit more of a pale yellow on it so it actually matches everything. Alright. Looking good, looking good. Let's bring the teeth back. Now, for me, they're a little too white. This guy had some serious dental hygiene. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all. I'm just saying, dang. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to darken them up a little bit. But first, we need to merge them down. So I'm not working with dozens of teeth. I'll be working with just one set. So we'll just merge down. More, 2 more, 1 more. All right. Let's give them a little bit of a darker color. Fill them in with the same bone material, because honestly, that they would look more like bone after a while anyway, because technically your teeth are kind of like bone, although they're more just really highly polished enamel and whatnot. So we'll merge these down all the way. Perfect. Uh-oh. Looks like we missed a bit. That's alright. All you gotta do is just go right back over it. And this will take care of the way it looks. Of course, with the low intensity, the more you go over it, the darker they'll get. Alright, getting there. So, since I'm still like the only person here, I guess my 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 decisions are the only ones that count at the moment, which is sad. I wish there were more people here to talk to and bounce ideas off of. But that's alright. Looking at it, I could go several different ways. We could go with the whole Skeletor idea that I had, which isn't a bad idea. We could give him some demon horns. Or we can do both. I mean, the whole idea here is to just be creative. Enjoy the process. Ooh, pardon me. Let's see what we got here. In our old. Alright. No, we're not going to go with that. We'll go with just a circle. And we'll go from the side profile. We'll back it up just a tad. Whoa. There we go. We will kick the draw size up a little because that's what the horns will start with. Really? I guess it would help if we'd select the skull, huh? Why am I not getting... Oh, frick. We can fix this. We'll just delete the lower. We don't need the, not bad. No. Cripes. Yeah. No. That's not bad. It's getting closer. I like that. I actually do like that. Alright. See how that turns out. Reminds me of the Djinn from Wishmaster. Getting closer. Maybe a little. A little too close. Too close, a little too close. No, too far down. The wrong angle. There we go. That's not bad. I don't think that's gonna look good at all. No. Alright, maybe we're gonna go with that. We could bring in a body. See what it looks like with a body. Or I could make one. Let's see what we got for no. I'll just make one. I could bring one in from Character Creator. Give it a beefy character, like... Alright, we'll do that. And then we'll just hide the face. Well, the head. No, I don't want to. For those of you who do not know what Character Creator is, it's a 3D tool for making people, and it is fantastic. Lots of things that you can do with it. So we will go with just a base, replace all. And yes, it's a Ken doll. So with the body, we're going to give it a bodybuilder physique. Because Skelitor, he had the skull, but let's pull the other one back and see how that looks. But he had the body of He-Man, basically. And we'll give it a new pose. We'll pose it as the default. Alright. So when I send it over, it will replace the skull. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Polysphere, go back over here, send it to ZBrush with Go Z, and we're going to create. So now what I'm going to end up having to do is Insert skull. Oh, it didn't bring everything over? Weird. Alright, well, we'll just delete that. And that. And then we'll move back over to the skull. And then we'll insert the body here. And since the body is absolutely ginormous, what we can do is resize it. We'll go over to deformation, size, and we'll just shrink it down. That looks about right. And no, I'm not going to be sending it back over to I'm not going to be sending it back over, so I'm not worried about it. This is staying here. Move this up. Move this up. We'll move the teeth. Up. And the lower teeth. Up. Alright, looks like we got everything. It kind of looks like Die Hardman from Death Stranding. That game is a trip, by the way. If you've never played it, it is a trip. Okay, I don't need that. Oh shit, did it literally just get rid of the teeth? Ugh. Can't undo that either, can I? Well, crap. I don't think anybody will really care. So we'll duplicate the bottom row. Pull it out. Pull it out. And we will center. Yeah, it looks a little weird now. Oh, shoot. That's alright. I have a fix for this. Where's my skull? There it is. Merge it down. Back to the character. Where did it go? There it is. Maybe. There we go. We'll just cut these out. Insert. And of course we might have to paint them again, but it's a small price. Eek. Pull that out. Holy crap. There we go. Alright, well, hide the body. We'll go back to painting. We'll get the lowers too, just to make sure everything's the same color. Let's hit it with it. Ooh, no, that's a little too yellow. Well, that's alright. We'll be recoloring them again later. This is just for now. So hide that. I'm going to do the lasso. And didn't get enough. There we go. Now I'm going to just delete what I hid. Actually, before I do that, no, just subdivide it. Give me polygons. Give me polys, man. Now we're going to delete it. Delete hidden. Really? Delete lower and delete higher. That'll be enough for now. Alright. Delete hidden. Alright, let's see here. Now in the cartoon, he had a cowl. Let's see what. Alright, so he had a cowl, and you couldn't see his head, so it appeared to be just floating. Oh my god, I remember these toys. So that's what it would look like, huh? Interesting. Why do you do this? Oh, that's great. Little bobblehead. But as you can see, in a more realistic render, he would definitely have a neck. But how does it attach to the head? Now that's what we're gonna have to figure out. That's cool. That's just dumb. So how we are going to attach this to that, that's going to be the fun part. Well, before we do that, we need to cap that off. That's not going to be good. We'll just Dynamesh it and then smooth it out. Now the great thing is, with us being able to just put a cowl on him, so you can't see the neck as much, we'd be able to actually hide the fact that he is the way he is. But before we do that, oh my god, seriously. Seven gigabyte video card, and it's still giving me issues. thankfully we don't really have to worry too much about what it looks like. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe pull it down a little bit. I don't know. That's where the face would be. Yes. We'll just move it up a bit. Seriously. No, we just want to go straight up. Suck it in a little. I do kind of want to make the head a little bigger, or the skull a little bigger. So I'm going to see what the poly... Okay, I just want that to be one group. One group. Alright, we're going to merge down. Merge down. Merge down. Hide that. Open that. Make it a little wider. Pull it down. There we go. Not bad. Not bad at all. Not great, but not horrible. I could live with that. Active points 34 million. My god. What the hell did I do to this thing? Okay. We will smooth that down. Oh yeah, I forgot that's what happens when you do that. It's alright, we're not making the whole thing, the whole body. We will cut that off. Joe. Modify. Delete hidden. Alright. Geometry. Dynamesh. Dynamesh to cap it. Smooth it off. And for the arms, we will take that off because I don't know about you, but when it comes to doing stuff like this, I find this a little easier. We'll do it at the arms. So we still have the alright, now we'll turn that back on so we can adjust. Actually, you know what, let's just clip the arms off. We don't really need them. No, delete. There we go. Perfect. That's what I'm looking for. Now, it'd be different if I were making a whole character. I wouldn't go through all this. But I just kind of want to make a bust, you know? I'd actually, if I were making a whole character, I'd actually give it the arms and the legs, but this is just a bust, so. Alright. So for the body, we're going to paint the body. See if I can do this in the next 30 minutes. We're going to go with skin. I know there's poly skin. Ah, I'm a ditz. Remember, we start with a brown base coat. Doesn't matter for what the colors are. Just start with a brown base coat. Color spray. That's not really. But brownish red, mostly. And we pull it in to get that finer detail. We'll change the color just ever so slightly. It's a little bit too red, too bright. Pull it back. And bring it back into focus. We'll go one more with a higher intensity, since this is actually skin, and we'll drop it down. Now remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. Alright. Now, Skeletor has bluish skin. So we're going to start with a very, very light blue. Pull the intensity way back again. Go back to freehand. And we're going to bring up the draw size. Fix the focal shift, and we'll start painting over the body. I'm going to pull up the draw size just a little bit more, just to make this a little faster. Since we are starting to run out of time, we're at 1.5 hours, and I would like to end the stream on time today. I think that would be acceptable. It's alright if we go a little further, but I do have other work to do for actual work. Alright. There we go. Alright, pull it back a little. It's looking good. Now we're going to go with a little bit bluer. We're going to put the intensity up just a bit. This time we're going to spray it, because we don't need it in all the spots, just some. There we go. Looks good. Looks really good. I'm going to darken the neck a lot, though, because we really don't want to show off this area. We are trying to hide that. Remember, the neck is non-existent to the actual character. Oof. Alright, so what's next? Cowl. That's the fun part, huh? There's two ways I can do this. I can do this the cheap way, or I can do this the long way. The cheap way would be to go into Blender, make a separate piece and bring it in, which I don't really want to do. Or we can go into Subtools, Insert, Fitted Stay, Polysphere. Now you're probably wondering why I dragged in a polysphere. What color is that? Is it blue or purple? It's blue. Alright. So what we're going to do is we're going to move the polysphere up. Go to the side view. Bring it over. We're going to raise it up. Go into transparency mode, make sure we got it in a decent spot. Looks good, kinda. Alright. I'm gonna draw it in just ever so slightly. We're going to return back to our Sculpt brushes. We're going to grab the move brush, and we're just going to move things around a little bit. We want to keep the transparency on so we can actually get the inside of the mesh as we shape it. Pull it in. Pull it back. Pull it forward. Wait for the ZBrush to finish saving. We're going to hide the skull to make things just a tad bit faster. Start pulling around here, pushing there, softening things up. Alright. Actually, I like that right there. Grab the edges here and start pulling them out to the side. Smooth that back out. Pull that out. Bring this back up, smooth it down. Fight with zbrush. There we go. It's looking good. Looking good. Neighbors. Yay, neighbors. And now, we'll pull this back up. Just a tad. Give it a little crown because why not? And now we are going to go to geometry, we're going to go to Dynamesh, and we're going to Dynamesh this sucker. Why? Because, well, it needs it. I'm going to hide the face again because apparently that's a lot of freaking polys. And it seems to be giving my computer fits. Alright. There we go. Things are starting to look nice. Alright, let's hide the body, let's hide the face, let's just focus on this for a second. We'll go into this, and there are some things we are going to need to do if we're going to get this to work right. First of all, I need to get rid of this. But before I do, make things a lot easier if I z-remesh it. Alright, so my goodness. We'll do this. This has got to come up. Yeah, this is process. Good thing is it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect yet. Just takes a little getting used to with this stuff. It's not always fun, but it helps. We'll be doing this separately. Alright. Just a little bit of cleanup on the underside. That'll do just enough. We'll make that its own single thing. We'll get rid of that. We'll modify topology, delete hidden. And it's starting to come together, I'd say. Now, here's the thing. I don't know how it's going to react, but we're going to try it out. We're going to open this, grab this, go to, where is it? Dynamics, collision volume, dynamics. Run sim. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought would happen. So we got to fix that. And the way I'm going to fix it is probably not the right way, but it'll work. perfect-ish. Perfect enough for now. Delete hidden. See remesher. Detect edges. Take detect edges off. Alright. Let's just reshape this tad bit. Get it a little closer to the head. And down here we're going to pull this in. And I think that looks pretty passable. Now we're going to run the dynamics again, but we're going to hopefully not have to fight with it. Go back to dynamics, brush for collision, shrink. Why are you stretching so much? We'll bring gravity down a little bit. It doesn't need to be that big. Inflate, deflate, expand, contract, collision. We'll recalculate collision real quick. Dynamics. Simulation points. We'll pump that up. Alright, now let's fix the inside. No, not unified display, double. Alright, well, looks like we're at the 2-hour mark. And that's going to conclude today's broadcast. I hope you enjoyed sitting with me as I muddled through. Thank you for watching, all you wonderful people. Skelitor didn't turn out as great as some artists' Skeletors, but honestly, I really wasn't sure what I was going to do. I literally only did this in like 2 hours, and I had no clear vision, so hopefully you can forgive me for that. But I think it looks good. It was a lot of fun to make, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to share it with everybody. Alrighty. See you tomorrow. Random game. Although I think I know what I want to play. I will be here at 10:30 tomorrow, maybe 8:30 depending on if I get up soon enough. I decided to move up to 10:30 because, well, it's just easier for me as a night person to wake up at 10:30 than it is at 8:30, considering I work all night. Alright, folks. Have a wonderful evening, and see you tomorrow.